Welcome. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most important, absolutely crucial concepts in machine learning, regularization. Think of it as the secret sauce that takes a model from just memorizing answers to actually understanding the world.
So let's start in the middle of a disaster. Picture this. You've spent weeks building a model. In the lab, it's a genius, hitting 99.9% accuracy. You push it to production, you're ready for that promotion, and then, bam, it completely faceplants. We're talking catastrophic failure in the real world.
So you gotta ask, right? How on earth does a model that was so perfect in training become a perfect failure when it actually matters? How can it know all the answers to the test, but be useless in a real conversation?
Well, the culprit has a name, and it's called overfitting. This is what happens when your model doesn't just learn the subject, it literally memorizes the textbook, page numbers, coffee stains, typos, everything. It learns all the random noise instead of the actual signal, which makes it totally brittle when it sees new data it hasn't memorized before.
Now here's the twist, and this is going to sound a little counterintuitive. The solution isn't to build an even smarter, more complex model. Nope. The solution is actually to force our model to be simpler. We need to teach it to see the forest, not just the individual noisy trees.
All right, so to really get how we enforce that simplicity, we've got to talk about the fundamental tug-of-war that's at the very heart of all machine learning, and that is the bias-variance trade-off.
See, every single model is caught between these two types of error. On one hand, you have high bias, or underfitting. That's a model that's way too simple. It's like trying to draw a circle with a straight ruler. It just misses the pattern. On the other hand, you have high variance, our old friend overfitting. That's the super complex, frantic model that captures every single bit of noise.
And here's the genius move. You can't get rid of both bias and variance at the same time. It's impossible. So the strategy of regularization is to make a deliberate trade. We're going to intentionally accept a tiny bit of bias, making our model just a little less perfect on the training data in order to slash that variance and make it way better in the real world.
So how do we do that? It's actually a really elegant idea. We change the model's goal. Instead of just telling it, hey, minimize your errors, we add a little something extra. We tell it to minimize its errors plus a penalty for being too complex. The model now has to balance getting the right answer with staying simple.
I love this analogy. Think of that penalty, that Lambda symbol, as a tax on complexity. If a feature in your data wants to have a big impact on the final prediction, it has to pay a heavy tax. If its contribution isn't really worth that tax, the model learns to ignore it, shrinking its importance. Okay, so how do we actually apply this complexity tax? Well, that brings us to the two heavyweights in the world of regularization, Lasso and Ridge. They both get the job done, but they have two completely different philosophies on how to do it.
And this is where you see their different personalities shine. Ridge regression, which uses an L2 penalty, is kind of democratic. It shrinks the influence of all the features, pushing them toward zero but almost never sending them all the way there. It likes to keep everyone involved. Lasso, on the other hand, with its L1 penalty, is a ruthless editor. It will shrink coefficients and has no problem forcing them to be exactly zero, effectively kicking useless features out of the model entirely. It's a feature selector.
Now the mathematical difference seems small, but it's everything. Ridge's penalty is the sum of the squared coefficients. Squaring a number makes big numbers huge, so it really punishes large outlier coefficients. Lasso's penalty is the sum of the absolute values of the coefficients. It's a much more linear, steady penalty.
And that little difference in the math creates this beautiful geometric picture. Imagine your model is trying to find the best answer inside a boundary. For Ridge, that boundary is a smooth circle. It's pretty hard to land exactly on an axis. But for Lasso, the boundary is a sharp diamond shape. It's way more likely that the optimal solution will land right on one of those pointing corners. And those corners lie on the axes, which is what forces coefficients to go to zero.
Okay, theory is great, but let's get our hands dirty. How do we actually use this stuff in our code without falling into some very common traps? Let's talk about the practitioner's playbook.
Listen up, because here are two rules you absolutely cannot break. First, always scale your features. Regularization penalizes big numbers, so if you have a salary feature in the thousands and an age feature in the tens, the penalty is going to unfairly hammer the salary feature. Always scale. Second, do not double dip.
It's so tempting to use Lasso to find the best features and then train a new, simple model on just those. Don't do it. It completely invalidates the statistical properties of your model.
So you might be thinking, how strong should that penalty be? How high should I set the tax? The good news is you don't have to guess. There are amazing tools built right into libraries like Scikit-learn, like RidgeCV and LassoCV. They use cross-validation to automatically test a bunch of different penalty values and find the absolute best one for your specific dataset.
All right, we've covered a lot. So let's pull this all together into a super simple cheat sheet that can guide your decisions when you're building your next model.
It really breaks down like this. Are a bunch of your features highly correlated with each other? That's a job for Ridge. It's great for stability. Are you drowning in hundreds of features and you're pretty sure most of them are garbage? Let Lasso do the house cleaning for you. And what if you're not sure? Or you want the best of both worlds? Well, there's a solution for that too.
And that solution is called Elastic Net. It's the ultimate hybrid. It literally just combines the L1 penalty from Lasso and the L2 penalty from Ridge into one single model. This gives you the feature selecting power of Lasso with the stabilizing effect of Ridge. Honestly, it's a fantastic default choice when you're not sure where to start.
And you know, this core idea of forcing simplicity isn't just for linear models. In the world of deep learning, there's a technique called Dropout that does something very similar. During training, it randomly just turns off some of the neurons. This forces the network to learn multiple independent ways to get to the answer, preventing it from relying too much on any one single neuron. It's like training a massive committee of smaller, simpler networks all at once.
And all of this leaves us with a really big, fascinating question for the future. As we build these enormous models with billions or even trillions of parameters, is the very architecture we designed becoming the new ultimate form of regularization? Are we moving beyond simple penalties and into an era where the shape of the model itself is what teaches it to generalize? That's the question that's going to define the next chapter of AI.